What is going on, everybody? What a topsy-turvy day so far for the crypto markets, despite the fact that we started off with some amazing news this morning. However, as I'm watching this pullback, I'm listening to comments from some of you guys here on YouTube in our videos, also over on X and in our Discord. People are very confused right now about what's going on with this morning's pullback in price action. But when you take a closer look at the charts, we very well might be setting up what is called a short squeeze. Now, if you have no idea what that is, never heard of it before, you're in the right place. It is something that's bullish, but I'll explain it to you in depth more and why I'm continuing to buy dips in cryptocurrency, preparing for a major run to the upside. You might not all agree. Let me know in the comments down below. Are you in the same boat? Are you buying crypto still with a big belief that the bull market is coming? Or are you seeing the signs telling you the top is in and it's nothing but pain from here on out? I would love to hear your guys' opinions as well. But always, no matter your belief system, if you like getting daily content on what's going on in the news and what's going on in the charts, smash that like button and make sure you are subscribed. In fact, if you're watching live right now, because we are live on this Friday, if you want to chat and engage with us and give us your feedback, we can incorporate it into the show. Subscribe right now because we do have subscriber mode only on in the chat. Let me bring up my boys here, my guys, my team. Wow. I say it, and there he is. It is Shrum. And Smay, again, Smay's in the background pushing buttons. He is feeling better. The vid is starting to leave his body, but it's still getting him. It still has him in a dump. If you guys, 700 likes, and maybe he shows his face. We're really trying to get his face on here, but we are struggling at those 700 likes, despite the fact that we're getting close to almost 1,000 concurrent live viewers every single live show. Smash the like button right now. Please, please, please. Shrum, how are you doing, my friend? How are you doing today?
Tim, I'm doing better than I deserve. I've been looking forward to this day because it is September 5th, the day of the unemployment print. I've got a big smile on my face, so you know how it went. We'll break it all down in a few moments, but we're also looking forward to this weekend, and I hope that you watching at home are too. I'm going to be touching some grass, playing a little golf with my wife, 9 holes only, not the full 18. We like to take it easy, and then we're just going to kick back, probably just hang out, maybe hit the grocery stores. Maybe go get some more cookie butter from Trader Joe's. If you know, you know. Ooh, so that's what I'm looking at.
That can be dangerous, man. Cookie butter. If you guys don't know what it is, don't figure it out. Don't go look it up. Don't go buy it at the store. Yes, it's addictive, probably worse than most of the drugs that the FDA tells you to stay away from. So Shrum really setting a bad example, bringing that up on the show, getting people possibly hooked for life on a very detrimental. It's not toxic, I don't think. It's just bad for you overall. So Shrum, it's good to know you're touching grass. Oh man, it's going to be a good weekend. I do think. I do have username in chat giving me a hard time. He likes to come after my Hokies. I don't know why we gave him a mod. Why did we give this man a wrench? He uses this wrench to do nothing but hurt my feelings. He says first South Carolina and now Vanderbilt for the W over Virginia Tech. No, we're going to win this one. We got a team this year. I think we showed some things against South Carolina. Despite not getting a W, I still walk away from the game thinking we were actually a better team than South Carolina, but we made more mistakes. So fixing them, we're going to beat Vanderbilt. Also, I think crypto's ready to go to the upside. Let's take a look at some stuff here real quickly. Stop. Smay, you're sick. You're not allowed to use my account to spread misinformation. Do not listen to the chat that says that Tim Warren is chatting. We're going to get into people who are watching back, not live. We're going to be very confused by this. Let's take a look at the bubbles. Let's look at the bubbles here, Smay. Show the bubbles. There we go. All right. A lot of green here. It's funny because we actually had a dip today. That's just how low we were 24 hours ago, that everything is still in the green. The biggest gainers, M and Pump. Other than that, Arrow also kind of hiding behind my face. 6.8% over here for Arrow. Love seeing that one. But overall, just a lot of green here. We have some very good numbers. Came out yesterday morning, came out again this morning. And if you're wondering what is the most recent data points that are really bullish, well, today we've been looking forward to this. September 5th, unemployment numbers coming out at 4.3%. Now, the expectation, it depends on where you look. There were some people expecting 4.3, some people expected 4.2. At the end of the day, it's higher than last month's at 4.2. What does that mean? Unemployment is rising. It's not rising out of control, but it is rising. I broke this down in depth in yesterday's video. Go back on our channel and take a look at it. I talked about a September prediction and what we would need to see for September to end in the green and what we would have to see for September to end in the red. And while we have to wait until September 11th to get the actual inflation data to kind of finish my prediction, I'm feeling good right now. Recent PPI numbers were favorable. Recent employment data has all been pointing towards an increase in unemployment, and unemployment trending up while inflation is staying still is a sign the Fed is going to want to cut rates. Despite this, though, again, we're rallying as we're speaking, like Bitcoin's back above 111,000. Earlier today, it was back down below 111,000, and there was a lot of liquidations. There actually was more than this. This was a tweet put out at 10:38 this morning, right? So it's been some hours since this time, but $115 million had been liquidated from cryptocurrency markets in the 60 minutes prior to this post going out. Right, so we get this bullish news. We see prediction charts like this one over here. Go to my screen and take my face off for this. Some of you are going to say, Tim, 11%. No, we got to pay attention to numbers here. 88.1% probability of a 25 basis point cut. But when you look at this 11.9, almost 12%, that's saying 375 to 400. What does that mean? That means that right now CME is predicting an 100% probability of at least 25 basis points being cut and a 12% probability that we could possibly get a 50 basis point cut. There was a rumor on X, and I want to stress this. Key word here is rumor. The rumor is that there's actually a full 1% on the docket, on the table for the Fed. Is that rumor true? I do not know the answer to that question, but you do see CME starting to have the conversation, is 50 basis points possible? Now, this shows it's not likely, but it is technically possible. What about the poly market, where poly market continues to climb? Now, it's crazy. 89% probability on people betting right now are saying 25 basis points. But when you add that with this one, this is what I think people are not paying attention to. 50 basis points prediction is now coming in at 9% on poly market. That means that we have 98% of poly market bettors, people like you and me, betting their hard-earned money on what September is going to do. We had 98% saying we are going to see a 25-point cut or more. And that kind of just leads into what we're seeing going on. Great news from unemployment. Why am I saying this is great news? Yes, unemployment is going up, but it's not out of control. In yesterday's video, I said if we hit like 4.5 or like 5%, that's a bad thing. That would cause the cuts, that would cause the Fed to cut rates, but the markets to crash because unemployment was going to hit massive numbers, just like 07, just like 2000, when we saw rate cuts correlate with a downward market. As long as unemployment is not out of control and simply trending up, it means it's still fixable. Ignite the country with a little bit of liquidity, make it easier for homeowners to borrow, make it easier for businesses to borrow. You allow people to stay employed. We reverse that trend, and we're looking to be in a good spot. But like I said, crypto had pulled back here. Let's take a look like even at the 1 hour chart. You're going to see an initial spike this morning. This spike actually started last night. If you're in the VIP trading group, were longing yesterday, had a lot of good long entries. I'm not going to go into all the details here on the show because I want to save that for our VIP traders. But if you want to be a part of it, not a better time to do it. We are going to be raising prices in the next couple of weeks, so this is a great time to be jumping in here. Ultimately, though, we rallied all the way up towards 113,400. Not quite to the levels we talked about. We did say, it's actually kind of funny, we hit the resistance of a key level we said on this show would be massive to get above. That level coming into highs from back on August 28th, right here at 113,500. We came in at 113,400, not quite breaking that resistance, and rejected, falling all the way down to $110,200. Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Before I get into that, because there's actually a lot of charts I want to take a look at, I want to take a little break. We've looked at the bubbles. We've looked at the big breaking news. We talked about the sentiment in the space right now. I want to throw it over to Shrum for a second and get your feedback. Were you expecting a manipulated move like this here today, or do you think this is a sign of something worse coming? How are you feeling right now overall about your investments in cryptocurrency?
Yeah, well, Tim, you and I, we were talking about it a little bit earlier today. It's like this is not the first time that this has happened this year. The folks that are in control of this market, they can control things in the short term, 24, 48, even 72-hour periods, but they cannot control value itself. That's what the market does. The market assesses what is valuable, what is not, what is overpriced, what is underpriced over the long term. And that is really not manipulatable except by the extreme largest institutions like central banks themselves onto gold. So, was I surprised by the way that the market moved today? No, because this is the way that it's been moving in all of 2025 and most of 2024. You get a bullish or a bearish print, right? And then the market goes in the opposite direction of what would make sense for the market to do. Why does that happen? It's simple, because people make money that way. Very, very rich and very powerful and very experienced people make money that way. So I wasn't surprised.
Mm-hmm.
I just had cash on the sidelines and I bought these dips. That's what happens when you gain a little bit more experience, is that when others are feeling surprised, you're buying, right? And when others are feeling surprised in a bear market, you're selling, right? So that's essentially the way that I'm seeing this print. Now the print itself, very bullish, especially on the non-farm payroll side. That was a big, big miss for non-farm payrolls. Really sucks if you have some young people in your life. The unemployment rate now for them is like 10.5%
Mm-hmm.
unemployment. Reach out to young people in your life and encourage them, see where they're at, and try to be a light, try to be a support for them. But in terms of the unemployment rate as it relates to risk assets and what we're interested in, which is making money, these prints couldn't have been any better. Like you said, Tim, not too hot, not too cold for the unemployment rate side. I've
Yeah.
got thumbs up all the way around. Just because the market is being manipulated, we're seeing prices test lower. It doesn't put a frown on my face. It puts a smile on my face and my finger on the buy button for these dips, Tim. That's how I'm feeling.
Absolutely. Username with a comment coming here about you, Shrum. He said, I've said it once and I will say it again. Shroomy has the best airline pilot voice. I see him flying an Airbus and teaching crypto in mid-flight over the intercom. Well, he just ruined a secret that was going to come out next year. That's exactly what Shrum's going to be transitioning into, starting a whole new bit. Just kidding. We're not doing anything like that, but that would be funny. Let's take a look at some more charts here. Shrum, thank you for that. I completely agree with you. It's just crazy the years we've been doing this game, how many times we've seen this exact move happen. Amazing news that comes out. It's the news you've been looking forward to cause some sort of bullish reaction, and yet the markets kind of give us a fake out, leading to a lot of confusion and chaos amongst retail investors, only for a couple of days later, after people have gotten cold feet, they've gotten out of their long positions, they've sold off crypto, convinced that if we're going down during good news, that means the bear market's here, and then they miss out on a major pump, new all-time highs coming. We've seen this playbook played out time after time after time. So if you're wondering, how did Tim and Shrum stay so positive during situations like this, it's because we've lived through it hundreds of times in a manipulated market. Let's take a look at the S&P 500 before getting back into crypto. And the reason I say this is because you can see that this is the daily chart here on the SPY. It's actually the SPX, but it's the same thing. Trending upwards, just continue to hit new all-time highs, what seems like every single week. Bitcoin has been trending downward. So we've been tracking certain days where the SPY continues to go to the upside and yet Bitcoin goes down. I've been telling you guys about, that looks to me and smells to me like a manipulated move. Today, you will see after opening new all-time highs, right? So we get that data print. We see that unemployment is high. What does the market do? It opens up. What's the actual percentage higher here? Let me get the actual tool out here. Closed yesterday around 65, opened around 65.31, right? So if we open at 65.05, open at 67.31, we are higher by 0.4% this morning when we opened. And then you can see a blue candle comes in. If I were to go to the hourly chart, for example, that first hour, it's like we opened up and people sold off, but we're kind of regrouping right here and coming back to the upside on lower time frames. I don't want to spend a lot of time on the lower time frames. I will say there's a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders kind of developing right there. So that's something interesting to keep an eye on. But what I want to kind of talk to you about is the daily chart. You might say, Tim, we're at a new all-time high this morning. We're getting a little overextended. The charts don't necessarily agree. It's actually, this is a very bullish looking chart when you look at it. It's price action that just keeps stair stepping, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. And then take a look at our oscillators, just constricting and coming down to the middle like they're trying to reload for a big move to the upside. I mean, we get a very minor sell signal and then immediately turn back bullish. This is a bullish looking chart right now on the daily chart with a fresh green dot coming in here and hitting a brand new all-time high. Several bounces right here off the 50 of the RSI is a major level of support, or near the 50. I misspoke there. We didn't quite get down to it, but the mid-level of the RSI, the 50, is a very key level to look for, because when you've been living above it, like we have since back in April of 25, a cross below that would be a problem to me. I'm not saying guaranteed it would be over, but I'm saying if we lose the 50 line on the RSI, I think we do have some potential issues with the S&P 500, saying, hey, we might spend some weeks in negative action, but we continue to defend it instead. And as prices get higher, the RSI is trending lower with these peaks. It's like a regrouping. It's like the bulls are catching their breath before the next big move to the upside. Ultimately, we still got a lot of room to go up here. Even the weekly chart. I'm sitting here saying, is the weekly chart bearish? Until the weekly chart turns bearish, don't talk about a massive correction on the S&P 500. And you can say, hey, the RSI is approaching towards that 70. Hey, if we turn around and top out here, we might see bearish divergence. You can say, hey, the MACD's rounding a little bit, but it's not curving downwards. Same over here. We get a gray dot that comes in, but the money flow is still positive, and then immediately we turn green once again. Nothing on the weekly chart is telling me that it's time to start panicking about the S&P 500. It just continues to trend to the upside. That's what is going to take us back over into the realm of crypto, into the realm of Bitcoin. Of course, a couple of weeks ago, we hit the new all-time high, but then we trend to the downside. Well, even within that downside trend, we're really just forming what is called a falling wedge pattern. Lower highs and lower lows that are constricting is a major thing that bulls will utilize as a pullback opportunity to buy a dip and then take things back to the upside. And if you watch the title here in the video, if you saw the thumbnail, you're saying, Tim, what is a short squeeze? I apologize. We're almost 20 minutes in the show and I haven't even explained what a short squeeze is. This is where I'm going to do it, right? So on this channel, we talked about the $107, $200 support level, right? We bought the dip on spot. We told people a week and some change ago to do it. We bought it here within our group. We fell down, touched support level of a channel, a falling wedge, and now we've broken some resistance and are making moves to the upside. Why is this all happening? What is going on overall? We got fantastic news. We got fantastic news that the whales want to buy. But when fantastic news comes out and retail is the first to scoop up and buy it, like this morning, when we started rallying and got the news, the whales love to manipulate this and bring it to the downside. Remember this tweet we showed earlier, $115 million of liquidations. What were they liquidating? They were liquidating long positions from retail investors. Let's turn on some liquidations here, and let's go to like a really small time frame. Maybe back it up here. Let's get some good looks here. Replay. Let's go back up to the highs we got this morning. We got this fantastic news. All of this, once it pops up here, give me a second. There we go. All of this colorful stuff right in here, this is very easy for manipulators to say, you know what, before we're ready to explode with this good news, let's come down and eat some of this. Let's take out some of these chunks, and then we can make a move back to the upside. Sure enough, as we let this play out, they began to let that happen. They ate all of that liquidity. And now, as we're live, it looks like we're finding a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit of movement here, ultimately with a whale movement that could climb to not just take out the longs from this morning. We got a lot of very interesting short liquidations to the upside. A short squeeze is where you build up a lot of short positions. You allow overeager traders to get aggressive. You even allow certain things to happen. Like, again, this morning's a perfect excuse for this. Great news. Unemployment is not under control. It's trending to the upside. This is going to cause the Fed to cut rates. We've been waiting for rate cuts to add liquidity so that we can buy the dips, but yet the price goes down. What does this do? This causes bearish analysts, bearish influencers, people who are on the fence if we're in a bull market or not, to feel like the bear market is here. we got great news and yet the markets are trending down. That only happens in a bear market. No, that happens during manipulated movements. And they're setting up confidence. You're starting to see the bright colors to the upside here on the liquidation chart. You can verify this if you go over to the coinglass.com. Look at all the bright colors to the upside trending towards 120,000. The composite man has retail holders right where he wants them. Great news means price goes up, and yet price goes down. It's going to confuse us and make us think, I don't want to buy this dip. I might even look for a short. I might want to take some profit so that when the bear market comes, I at least got some money here. And then before you know it, short squeeze happens. We trigger and take out all of these confident short positions on our way to a new all-time high. Now, I want to make sure I'm very honest with you guys. There still is this nice grouping down here. While I think we're seeing some short-term support coming in around this $110,000 mark, if we were to make a move all the way back down to 107, there is some interesting liquidations down there, but I'm not convinced we have to go there. With the good news we got this morning, I think there's a very good chance that that short squeeze is going to come. I hope it doesn't come till next week. I don't want to see one of these things where we rally over the weekend, create a massive CME gap, and then early next week we have to retrace to get that. I'm kind of hoping for a nice little sideways move over the weekend, and then Monday, all right, let's go ahead and take out all of those short positions and prepare ourselves for a 25 basis point to potentially 50 basis point cut. That would be awesome, in my personal opinion. I would love to see how that plays out. By the way, I did a lot of situational analysis right there, showing you price action, showing you the moves of the whales. What about actual analysis going on here? Despite this morning's pullback, we're still looking at having a white candle, a bullish candle for the daily chart. And the buy signal we've been talking about for the last couple of days is still intact. Green reversal from Luxargo, bullish momentum, and that positive money flow. You do love to see it. It's very common. I teach this in the VIP training group all the time. You get these buy signals, right? We got this buy signal the other day on September 2nd. I always tell my group, I'm gonna teach you guys something for free right here and how I trade this. If you ever used my tactics, but you're not in our trading group, you've never learned this from me, and you've been frustrated because there's been times where you get stopped out. Whenever I see this, let's back this up. Actually, I want to teach this lesson how I usually trade these things. I get a buy signal on the daily chart, right? We get a breakout of resistance. I have a green reversal, bullish momentum, positive money flow here. How do I trade this? I set it up by saying, you know what? I don't want to miss out on this opportunity. I want to make sure I get into this trade. I want to make sure my stop loss is down here. I usually like to take a look at, is there any significant liquidations down here? Yeah, let's get below those liquidations. Let's come in down here. If I lose this trade, I lose this trade. It is what it is. I just want to make sure I get in this trade. But what I'm going to do is I'm also going to put in, just in case I'm wrong here and we come back down to lower levels, I want to make sure I put in a second buy entry. I could literally go anywhere between 108 down to 107. What I might do is say, you know what, let's split the difference, go 107.5. Let's just get a second entry in here. Let's turn this red just so it differs in colors. Boom. All right, so now I'm going to put a higher line up here, which, by the way, I got in closer to 110, but I'm gonna leave it like this just to help you guys out. This means my average entry position, if both of these got hit, is actually somewhere closer towards 109, 177. If I don't get the second entry, that's fine. I got in early. We're good to go. I'm gonna move this up real quick. I'll explain why. Why do I bring in this lower entry 2? Why do I not just ride the first one with confidence? We got the buy signal. Because I know from experience, this buy signal, more often than not, will make a major move to the upside. In this case, I see targets all the way back up here around $122,000 to $123,000, right? That's my target for exit. But I know that it's very common. The composite man's game, once you get a buy signal like this, is to turn around and do what I call a manipulation move. Coming back down around the area you just bottomed out, or maybe even a little bit lower before it takes off and does exactly what the expected move is, right? The expected move is daily buy signal. We should make a move up to this level around 123,000. But manipulation moves happen. So I'm not surprised at all to wake up this morning and see a little bit of a retracement back down. It hasn't gotten down to my entry 2. I might not get my entry 2, but it's there to make sure. I also like to hedge my bets and make sure, hey, I want to exit this with money. So let's put a TP1 somewhere up here around the previous resistance level, in this case, around $116,700. What I'm going to do with that is the moment Bitcoin gets up above this level, I'm raising my stop loss up to break even. And now all of a sudden I'm playing with house money. I can't lose. I've already locked in some profits. If we go back down, good. I end in profit. If we don't go back down and we shoot up, even better. I get more profit. Ultimately, this is the power trip way. This is one of the reasons why my trades have been closing 85 to 90% of my trade entries. I am profiting and walking away with money roughly 10 to 15% of the time. My stop loss, my analysis was just wrong. The stop loss gets triggered. I live to fight another day. In case you're doing any math out there, my wins are way bigger than my losses. I'm winning 8 out of 10 times I'm trading. That's how I stay profitable, even for the few moments where I am wrong in my analysis. There's your free trading education of the day, how to use that. If you want to learn more and see how I do more things, check out that VIP trading group. I do see Tom Crown in chat. Speaking of technical analysis, one of the GOATs, one of the OGs of the TA crypto YouTuber space is here. Shout out to Tom. Love seeing you in here, Tom. All right, there's a lot there. A lot there for Bitcoin. It's 327. We do have some other things to talk about, but let's just do a quick run through on a couple other charts we've been tracking with. Starting off with Bitcoin dominance. Again, Bitcoin dominance, is it trending up the last week? Yes. But the overall trend for the last couple of months continues to be the downside. I told you guys, I wouldn't even care if we're going to move all the way back up to 60%. But are we starting to see any reversal signs? Yes, we are. Even out here on the daily chart, money flow starting to show money flowing back out. I can just about guarantee you, let's see, there we go. I didn't finish saying the statement before the chart popped up, but based off that daily chart, I was going to say I could just about guarantee you we're going to get a red reversal, bearish momentum, and negative money flow on the 4-hour. That's exactly what we see happening right there. So was that the top of this little bounce back on Bitcoin dominance? What support and resistance levels? We didn't even get up to resistance levels around 59%. Let's continue to track this, but I would say keep an eye on this next couple of days as the rally starts to happen, starting off down here at 57, but we might start to see something bigger pop up on that daily chart with moves down towards 57% to the next order block. I'd be watching that for a new low if we do break back below 58% on Bitcoin dominance and altcoin season continues to do its thing. Ethereum, kind of still hovering here. Again, even after the daily sell signal got nowhere close to this $4,100 mark. I was hoping to get an entry there. I didn't. I did enter into a long last night. Part of the reason for that is because you got a little gray dot coming in today, but ultimately green reversal, bullish momentum, and you do see a gray dot in here, but you see positive money flow. That gray dot might be extremely misleading. I think we might turn around and have that go to the upside, and it's going to turn out to be just a blip. But I'm bullish on ETH right now to make a big move, at least back up to 4,800, if not all the way up closer to 5,800 is where I'm trading that one. Chainlink as well. Got some entries last night. This is one where I used that. I haven't gotten it yet, but I have a second entry that might get triggered down here at 2173, but ultimately still bullish on this one as well. Is there a gray dot? Yes. But ultimately, I'm looking at positive money flow coming in, the green dot coming in, the fact that we did have a green dot pop up a couple of days ago. That gray dot might not last, right? We'll have to wait to see what happens at 8 p.m. tonight. That gray dot might end up disappearing, and it turns out the solidification of the daily buy signal comes in for Chainlink. But these are all charts right now. Keep an eye on. I think we might see some positivity pop up even on shorter time frames. But those are just what I'm looking at right there. Falling wedge pattern on Chainlink as well. If we make a move down to 2170, great. We'll touch support. I'll buy it again, even though I bought some yesterday around 2250 mark. Would love to see that kind of blast up to the upside. If you want to see my stop losses and take profits for those, all those are over in the VIP trading group. So I encourage you, once again, act now before those prices increase. Because once you get in at those cheaper levels, you are locked in for life, my friends. We grandfather you in. We never raise prices on any of our members. But from time to time, we do have to raise prices on the group in general. So act before those prices increase. Let's take a break from the charts here. I'm sure that charts will come back up later. I know you guys love coming around hearing my opinion on what's going on there. But there's a couple other stories that I do want to get into and talk about as to why we're staying bullish overall in the crypto markets. Let's go to my screen again here, and let's talk about something we put out earlier on the Tim Warren Trades X account. This is a post from September 3rd, so it's 2 days old, but it's something that we have been talking about for a while now. Bitcoin's lagged M2 and gold correlation. We actually haven't talked a lot about gold correlation, so we're going to look at that chart in a second. But if Bitcoin's lagged M2 and gold correlations hold, right, so the history of Bitcoin tracing behind these things hold, the rest of the year could be very interesting. Charts below point to an $167,000 to $185,000 mark for Bitcoin. This first one, and again, we look at M2 money supply all the time on the charts, but I'll just show you the picture of it here. You can see here, this is projecting, you see how consistent we stay with it historically. It's projecting we should still be rallying all the way up here into, that is not the right, I don't know why it says July of 2025. That time period is going to be around September, late September, early October is when it's suggesting, hey, maybe we have a little bit of a dip there. But a chart that I hadn't looked at and hadn't done a lot of comparison would be gold. And you can see there's some discrepancies in Bitcoin versus gold. Bitcoin here in the orange, gold in the black. But overall, you see the trend continue to be the same with a 200-day lag. So it's like gold front runs the movement. It tests out the markets and Bitcoin rallies here behind it. It would suggest we got still a lot of ways to go to the upside for Bitcoin as well. Of course, gold still smashing new all-time highs. Let's go take a look at that. What is gold doing today? Go to my stock chart. Let me turn off some noise here on the charts. Gold just continues to go berserk here. It's not taking a break here today. It's up over 3,600 today. Touched 3,600. I apologize. It's a little pullback there, but we told you the other day with a breakout and a potential bear pennant in play, I wouldn't be surprised to see gold continue to shoot up towards 4,200. Guess what that means? It's just more good news for Bitcoin to continue that run behind it, because as I'm showing you in this tweet, it looks like Bitcoin has roughly a 200-day lag behind gold's chart. Very good news for whether you're a gold holder or a Bitcoin holder. I myself like to hold both because I think diversification is proper, but I know I'm going to make more money from my Bitcoin holdings. Good news for everybody. Shrum, I'm going to throw it to you because I think you are the one that found this. What are your thoughts on this? What are your overall perspectives of this chart?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good reminder to buy some silver, buy some gold as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to hurt to have some physical wealth on you in some kind of serious liquidity event. Let's say the bond market, loses its stamina and something bad happens there. I'm a holder of gold and silver. I like it, but obviously Bitcoin is much better positioned for the long term, in my opinion. So these are some of the things that we pay attention to. So gold though, I think has been doing well. If I was somebody who has never bought gold or silver, I would actually be buying silver, because silver tends to catch up with gold and gold just hasn't found a top yet. Right. So therefore silver is just going to be kind of tagging along, putting in higher highs, lower lows, but hasn't really had that big run up to catch up with gold. In fact, I don't think silver spot price has even had a new all-time high yet, although its total value, I believe, is right on par with Bitcoin as a market cap. Yeah, so silver 2.3 trillion market cap, Bitcoin 2.2 trillion. But silver was down there much lower. I think it was like even it was even around Berkshire Hathaway, JP Morgan just a couple of weeks ago. Now, it's the number 7 right in front of Bitcoin. So obviously Bitcoin, I predict will kind of rocket higher than silver over the next few years. But silver right now, in terms of a better buy than gold, in my opinion, because gold is just it will find a top and then it will turn over, and a lot of that profit taking is going to go into silver. So silver is the one that I'm stacking.
Could you zoom in on that for a little bit? Go back to that chart, Shmaine. I want to look at it. Can you zoom in on some of those things? Because obviously in a bull run, all these stocks will increase as well. But let's just take a look at some of those things. Silver at 2.3 trillion, Amazon at 2.4 trillion, Alphabet at 2.8, Apple at 3.5, Microsoft at 3.6. Nvidia is going to be interesting. It's at 4 trillion. We're not going to see Bitcoin take over gold. That's up at $24 trillion. Not going to happen this run, at least. But I'm going to be honest with you. With Bitcoin only sitting at 2.2 trillion right now, Nvidia is going to be interesting. I mean, Nvidia is a very, very explosive stock, but Microsoft, Apple, Alphabet, Amazon, they're going to linger. They're not going to explode at the same pace Bitcoin does. Do not be surprised to see Bitcoin at the number 3 spot at the least this time next year. If not, I mean, I think it's going to be close with Nvidia. Does it pass Nvidia? We'll have to wait and see. Again, I think that the crypto markets could easily be overall. You can go off the screen now. I think the crypto markets can be overall around 11 trillion, maybe a little higher than 11 trillion. I know some people are saying closer to 20. I think that's a little ridiculous. I think 11 to 15 is a little bit, that's kind of where it stops for me. I think Bitcoin's going to hold close to, if not a 50% dominance, which means I'm predicting that Bitcoin's going to have over a 5 to potentially a $6 trillion market cap. Now, like I said, those other companies are going to rally as well. It's not like right. Apple and Amazon are going to stay still, but will they make it all the way up to $5.5 to $6 trillion? I don't think so. And that's why I'm telling you and predicting that Bitcoin ends up going higher than those and coming in at number 3. NVIDIA, I think, could potentially keep that number 2 spot. Shrum, do you disagree with that prediction, that opinion?
I think that Bitcoin is going to do really well. Top 3, I could see it because it's pure pristine value, right? Whereas with Amazon and Google and even NVIDIA, it's not pure. Like something could happen to the CEO, something could happen to the fundamental business model. And I actually predict one of these companies, probably Alphabet, is a little bit vulnerable because what does AI do? AI can infinitely print out software. And a lot of these companies do a lot of software, and some of them are going to benefit, which is why I think there's a little bit more complexity to the claim there, Tim, because I could see some of these companies doubling or tripling because their profit margins are going to get so swollen and fat from AI integration into what they do. So for Alphabet, I could see it go 50-50. I could see Alphabet get totally just walloped by Microsoft's company, OpenAI, right? But I could also see it going the other way where Google and Alphabet are able to stay competitive and their LLM is actually able to swell the profit margins there at Google disproportionate to NVIDIA, Microsoft, and Amazon, and certainly Meta. I think Meta, and we don't talk about AI a lot here, so I'm indulging, but I think Meta is kind of looking like it's going to be the loser here, right? In my opinion, the way that the hiring's going, the way that they're kind of quickly shuffling how they're spending money. I think Mark Zuckerberg, he's got some catching up to do, and I think ultimately with what Musk has done with Grok and the huge data center out in Memphis, and then OpenAI, I think it's really down to the big 3: OpenAI, Grok, Gemini, and you could throw DeepSeek in there too, because if the Chinese go ahead and throw their whole weight behind one model, it's going to be competitive. Yeah. Way too much AI there. I know that's not what you asked for.
The only reason I don't think that's going to happen, though, Shrum, is because the higher you get, the harder it becomes to 2x, right? It's really easy to go, from $2 to $4. It's easy to go from a $5 million market cap to a $10 million market cap. It's hard to go from 3 trillion to 6 trillion. And when I look at this, go to my chart here, Smay. Microsoft doesn't do 2x's in 1 year, right? So I'm looking at some of the most explosive periods of time for Microsoft would be a 100% rally here to double in price. You have to go back to the lows of July in 2016, and it took all the way until May or April area of 2018 to go up 100%. I mean, even this year, you can see an explosive rally here for Microsoft, right? It was only 61%. If you go to the lows here in April, it's very hard for a stock of this size to double. And by the way, people are going to say, Tim, it's going to be hard for Bitcoin to double. I mean, we're talking about going up towards $230,000 per coin to double from here. But you ask me right now, which is more likely, Microsoft going to 1,000 or Bitcoin going to 230,000? Give me Bitcoin all day. It's going to be very hard for Microsoft or Apple or Amazon to double in value at the same rate Bitcoin still can with this early of adoption. And I had that conversation, by the way, with one of the very good friends of our channel, Stocks with Josh. If you watch the Stocks with Josh, you can go off my screen now, Smay. If you watched the video where I was just with Stocks with Josh the other day on his channel, raise your hand in chat. I love Josh. We had a full show of disagreeing with each other. I think sometimes we actually did agree. I think he played a little devil's advocate with me, and I love it. I love stretching my imagination. But we challenged each other on one thing. He told me in that video, he said, Tim, Bitcoin, crypto, they're not new. Like, we can't make the argument it's new innovation. I completely disagree with him. And if you didn't watch, I want to lay out the argument that I made here. But one of my biggest statements on that show, and one of the biggest reasons why I'm so bullish on cryptocurrencies, because we are still in the early days. We still are early to adoption. Some of you might side, though, with what Josh said. Josh, like, Tim, it's been around for 16 years. This is not new. Here was my response. This is what I said to him. It is new because of the age-old statement when it comes to these innovative things. At first, they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then they join you. All right. 2009 to 2013, nobody knew what Bitcoin or cryptocurrency was. You would have had to be deep in the weeds of computer gaming, nerd out internet. Nobody was talking about Bitcoin. Nobody was talking about cryptocurrency. In late 2013, around 2014 to 2017, that's when it started to become known, but it was a punchline on a show. I remember that show. What's that scientific show? The Big Bang Theory. The Big Bang Theory, a whole TV show about nerds who live in, I think it's New York, maybe they're LA, I don't remember the city, but ultimately they talk about really nerdy things. They made jokes on a show that was all about nerd jokes about one of their guys putting all of his net worth into Bitcoin. Other TV shows made jokes about it. It was this laughing stock. I heard about it in 2017 from a weed farmer who was trying to tell me this was the one world currency that Revelations talks about, right? It was thought of as this joke of a situation. No one should take it seriously. Don't worry about Bitcoin. It's a joke. They are laughing at it. But something changed between 2018 and 2021. All of a sudden, Bitcoin started becoming legitimate. People realized, oh my gosh, this thing is not going away. So instead of innovating, the whales and the institutions used their hard-earned money to not invest in it, but to promote articles and media to tell people to stay away from it. It's bad for the economy. It's never going to make it. This whole thing is fake. You can't even touch it. How is it actually going to become anything? It wasn't really until 2023, end of 2023, early 2024, when Bitcoin was finally given an ETF from the SEC, that institutions began to actually warm up to it. So no, Bitcoin might have existed for 16 years. It's only been accepted by the people with all the money for less than 2 years at this point, or maybe right over 2 years. Or no, not even, early 2024. So not even 2 years of adoption. We are still early. Don't let people tell you that we're not. There's a reason why Bitcoin can still 2x, 3x from here easily, well before a stock that's amazing, by the way. No shade to Microsoft or Amazon or Apple. They are up there for a reason, but don't sit here and tell me you're going to get a better return on one of those stocks than you will from Bitcoin, which is in the early stages of becoming digital gold and being the second, and who knows, next 10, 15 years, maybe the number one asset on the planet. I rest my case. I'm going to get off my soapbox. I'm going to take a breath. I think it was actually all the news. For some reason, I thought there was one more story that we were going to cover here, Shrum, but there's not. We are going to talk about Moon Madness here in a couple of minutes, but let's look at chat here. Let's answer some questions. I also have a question for everybody else, though. I brought myself a question to the show, but what are you seeing in chat, Shrum, that people are asking about?
Well, we had a really nice testimony. This is a name that I can't really pronounce, but Fases y Batatas said, and I hope that that's not inappropriate, but I said, I'm a new follower and I just got into the VIP trading program. I'm loving it. Great so far. Absolutely. And yesterday we had a really good testimony as well. Someone said they would be willing to pay 10 times the amount that they pay for access to the trading group. So, that's one of the reasons why we're going to be raising prices, but it's just great.
A great discount every single day is what you're saying. Yeah,
exactly. Exactly.
I see Kankles, of course, had to come in with the joke, says, why was Tim talking to a weed farmer? See, I'm not even going to answer the question because I feel like there's no good answer to that. I will just, Scout's honor, actually, I can't say that because I have done weed once in my life. So I'm admitting to you guys, I've done weed once in my life. It was legal. It was like that strain that's like legally you can sell it. Never did it again ever since. It was a terrible experience, right? So, but I'm being honest with you guys, right? This is an integral show. I'm not hiding anything from you. I was not buying weed from a weed farmer. That much Scout's honor, I can promise you. He was a friend of, you know what? I'm explaining myself and we're going to get away from this. So why was Tim talking to a weed farmer? I ask myself the same question every day, honestly, if we're being honest.
Nowadays, weed farmers are essentially just manufacturers in the United States. They're just boring corporates.
All right. Guys, if you have not done it yet, smash that like button. What's the breaking news here, Shrum?
There is some breaking news here. You've heard of Bitminer for the Ethereum treasury company. You've heard of
Mhm.
MicroStrategy, of course, for Bitcoin treasury company. But now there's a new one on the block that has been approved for NASDAQ listing. That is Sol Strategies. I don't know the ticker, but that is
Ooh,
breaking news. First Solana treasury company to be approved for NASDAQ listing. This
there we
could be
go.
listed as soon as just a couple of weeks here. So we'll be keeping you all up to date on what's going on there, and I will search for that ticker here over the next couple seconds.
Cool. Very, very cool. I see here K Bacon. We'll do this last one. Then I have a question for you guys in the chat. Go to my screen here, Smay. Someone's asking for Sui. I just realized I had the trade set up from last night's trading group. So I could have deleted it, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys. We talked about buying Sui down here at 325. I have a short little take profit. TP1 on 363, and then a higher take profit around 410. Stop loss in down here at 309. But that's what I did right there. Why? Because this is another chart with a daily buy signal. Guess what? Green reversal, bullish momentum, positive money flow. Even though there's a pullback here today, we got a fresh buy signal here again. Green reversal, bullish momentum, positive money flow. Lots of stuff happening there. You zoom out and you see that it's bouncing. It just recently bounced off a trending upper level of support. I think Sui's getting ready to make a big move to the upside. If I want to go a little deeper with the drawings here, you also could come in here and say, all right, let's track this resistance right here. Boom. Resistance versus a nice little trend of support. Let's turn this green so that it has that nice support level. By the way, little tip for you guys. Sometimes you don't want to just see support. See if that trend extends to the backside and is form of resistance. That even more validates the significance of that trend. Falling wedge pattern. You know, I probably could even have this trade go higher because guess what this would imply here? We're actually going to go this height to right here. This is a breakout for Sui. If we can get above this resistance around 351, we actually go a lot higher to 471. I like my take profit back here at 410, but 475 also is another level to keep an eye on there for the Sui chart. So there you go. That's what we're looking at on Sui. Another 2 free trade setups. I gave you a Bitcoin trade setup. I gave you a Sui trade setup. That's all I'm giving for free today. That's all I'm giving for free today. If you want the rest, you have to join the VIP trading group. My question to you guys, I put this out on X, but I thought here on YouTube would be fun as well. So a little bit of a joke here. I want to make sure I clarify. I put this out. When Chainlink hits $700 and you're a multimillionaire because you guys took our non-financial advice, you guys just said, you know what, I agree with Tim. I want to buy Chainlink as well. Which house would be your ideal home and environment to live the rest of your life at? Now, let's start off. I don't think Chainlink's going to hit $700 in 2026. Is it possible? It absolutely is possible. I think 300 or 400 is my more realistic ceiling. 700 would happen in an extended bull run into 2027 or after the next bear market, maybe closer to 2028, 2029 area. But it's the joke. You know, I have said 700 in the future. I do think it's going to hit 700 in the future, just maybe not next year. But what do you guys have? A beach house. I found some nice photos here. B, a mountain house. See a penthouse. You can. I didn't want to just take a picture of a skyscraper, so you just get a corner of it, but you get the view more in that one. Who wants to live in a penthouse? Or D, a ranch house. What are you guys choosing in chat? I'm not going to make the new poll here. You guys just chat in there. Shrum, I don't even know your answer to this question. What are you choosing here of these 4?
I think I got to go beach house, Tim.
Of course, you are the type of guy who would choose beach house, aren't you?
I gotta go beach house. I love to look out on the water and just think about gains.
We are not the same person, and maybe that's why we're good business partners. You can't have 2 identical thinkers. You got to get some stretch and back
Tim,
and forth. But
which house would you pick?
What?
Which house would you pick?
It's actually a toss-up to me, but I can tell you right now. Go back to my screen here, Smay. Take both those options on the left and kick them as far as humanly possible away from me. I do not like the beach. I do not like the heat. I do not like big cities. So you couldn't give me one of these houses and have me live in it. If you gave me a house, if someone comes to me in a bar and says, Tim, I have a $5 million beach house or a $5 million penthouse in New York City, it will be on the market by tomorrow night. And it's going to take till tomorrow night because I'm probably going to have to get somebody else to help me put it on there because I don't know how to do that. But I am not going to go live in these places. I will sell it ASAP. So don't give me, in case any of you are out there and saying, I was thinking about gifting Tim a beach house or a penthouse, Save it, give it to Shrum maybe because he might use it. It's hard for me to choose the other two because I love the mountains, but a ranch house with the land, I love the way ranch houses are built. Because I'll have kids and because I love land, give me a ranch house, but could we put that ranch house like in a valley surrounded by mountains? Guess where that would be? Blacksburg, Virginia, the home of the greatest terrible football team in college, Virginia Tech Hokies. Give me a ranch house in a valley between the mountains, and I will be happy as a clam.
What you're saying is you want a Hidden Valley Ranch house.
The valley doesn't have to be hidden.
Those of you who aren't in the United States, you might not know, but Hidden Valley Ranch is a type of sauce, a dipping sauce that you might put on salad, or you might dip chicken nuggets in. What's an obscure use of Hidden Valley Ranch sauce, Tim? What's the weirdest thing you've seen people put it on?
Listen, ranch is for salad and chicken wings. Past that, I don't think you need it.
Wow. Disagree. I like to put it on pizza as well.
I know you also like beach houses, so
yeah. Call me crazy. Yeah. Call me crazy.
You probably also eat pineapple on your pizza, don't you?
I love pineapple on the pizza.
You can't be trusted. Your opinion is thrown out. Smay, you don't have to come on camera, but you have a microphone. What are you choosing here, bud?
I would say I will probably pick between the beach house and the mountain house.
Good picks. Good picks.
Also,
the second one was good. The first one was terrible.
I just have to weigh in here and just say, Shrum, you are entirely valid for your feelings about ranch. Ranch can be used in about everything you could possibly think of. Also, pineapple on pizza is excellent.
You know, at one point, the first person who made the observation that the earth is not flat was also a minority of opinion, and everyone called him crazy. So I don't care if you guys are going to try to outnumber me with this prediction. Ranch should only be used for salad and chicken wings. Past that, it's not helpful. Same, pineapple should just be eaten as pineapples or maybe in a fruit salad, but not on pizza. I don't care how many people stand against me. I know I'm right, and that's all I'm going to say.
Also, I just have to say one last thing, Tim. You said that in Blacksburg is located the best, worst college football team. And we've looked this up before. I just want you to know that factually West Virginia is the best, worst college football team. Like, it actually is the best, worst one. It has the most wins without a championship.
I don't know why we're arguing over a joke, but sure, I'll give you worst football team in the world.
No,
that's fine.
best,
I think this
worst,
conversation
best, worst.
has reached the point of madness, which is a great transition into moon madness, Tim.
What a transition right there, Shrum. That's why we pay you around here, because of those types of transitions. Guys, if you have not been paying attention, we have been running a competition last week. It's going to continue into September. It's called Moon Madness. May, can you bring up the brackets? I think we have some filled out here. I want to show you on my screen what's going on here, but there are the new ones out here, right? So you don't see winners in those last 5 groupings because we have to wait until Saturday to get those sent in here. But what a fun competition so far. Ethereum easily handing algo. You know what? Let's do something real quick. Don't go to my screen just yet because I got this set up. But let's take a look at I bookmarked all the groupings so far. Let's take a look at what has gone on here. Go to my screen and we'll take a look at this. But we'll look at some week 2 matchups here in just a second. If you guys don't know about this, make sure you're following me on X, Tim Warren Trades, at Tim Warren Trades, so you can vote on these polls. Ethereum annihilates algo, 82% going to Ethereum on 350 votes. I thought we could have gotten a little more on that one, but not too bad. Let's get more votes next time. This was one Crux and I got wrong. Shrum got correct. Ina squeaked it out over Litecoin. I thought that Litecoin was going to have more support than that, but this one I'm actually kind of glad. I myself would have wanted Ina to win. I just kind of thought Litecoin would win, but I would have voted. I didn't vote because this is on my channel, but I would have voted Ina myself, but I just thought I was going to get outvoted there. So good for Ina's community. I was right about Uni. Was this the heaviest lopside? 83% for Uni over Polkadot. The 16% of you that voted for Dot might have been talking to a weed farmer recently. But yeah, Uni wins that very comfortably, 83%, only 258 votes. I think it's because a lot of people just realized they didn't need to vote on that one. Dot was going to lose no matter what here. Oh, there we go. Here's a bigger one. Sui over near 85% on 281 votes. Let's keep going on. This one I thought would be a little closer, but hype of 231 votes, 67% of the vote went to hype over Aptos. Keep moving up here. H-bar with 80% over Pepe. I went wrong on this one as well. And I think, Shrum, you were with me here. I think we both said Pepe. Crux went with H-bar, and he was right. And he was right by a mile, 80% going to H-bar. Another one, I myself would have voted H-bar. I just thought that Pepe had a larger community, and they probably do. We don't talk about Pepe, so they just probably have not found our page. But H-bar is moving on. Let's go in here. This might be the closest. Only 53% on Arb over Tron, but we were right. We chose Arb. I think Crux went Tron here, so I think this is one he messed up on. But Arbitrum going to the next level, beating out Tron. Let's look at the other ones. Doge over ICP, closer than I would have thought, but Doge does get the dub, 55%. This is the surprise. With 25,000 people viewing this and over 2,600 votes, Caspa did the unthinkable. The XRP army was asleep, and Caspa, by 74.2% to 25.8%, beats XRP and is moving on to the second round versus Chainlink. It's going to be a big one there. Shout out to the Caspa community. And I'm 2,600 votes. That means 1,900 votes went to Caspa, more than almost any other poll had in votes total. The Caspa, what is the Caspa army called? Someone in chat, let me know. Because I own Caspa, but I don't know if I'm part of the army. What do you guys call yourself?
The Caspians?
The Caspians, like from Narnia?
Like the Caspian Sea? No, the Caspian Sea is a real place.
Whatever Caspians call themselves, congratulations. That was awesome. Link, 70% over Ondo, broke my heart. But one of them had to lose, and if I had to choose one, Ondo had to lose there. Tau pulled the W over XLM like we thought it would. And then now, if you go to our channel, there's some fresh ones out here. Let's see how they're performing right now, but it's not done. We have, almost 2 full days. Like we thought, Solana destroying Polygon so far. That's to be expected. AVAX destroying Mantle, 95%. I mean, there's only 67 votes, so a lot can change here, but AVAX with a clear lead over Mantle right there. Cardano over Pi. Okay, I didn't know if any Cardano haters were going to come out. We did vote for Cardano, but I thought this was one to watch. Maybe you had some Cardano haters play the game. Aave over Ton. That's going to be interesting. I think this is one you and I chose. No, I think Crux chose Aave as well. He was close to Ton, but we all went Aave. That's a pretty big lead right there. And then this is a surprise to me. I think we all picked Sheeb to win. I think we all thought Sheeb would win. And there's a lot of time left. But after 85 votes, XMR, Monero, 61% of the vote so far over Sheeb. So make sure to go vote and look forward to polling next week. Go to the split screen now again. And go to the brackets. Let's look at some interesting matchups so far in week 2. If everything stands right now, what we have to is there. ETH versus Hype. We'll make an official prediction on Monday's show, but you got to think ETH is going there. Sui versus Uni will be good, but I think I know which one's going to win there. ENA versus H-bar, right? So in this case, both of the underdogs, according to our predictions, are coming out here. You got to look at how far H-bar got with that voting in the first round. That could be very interesting. I might get a lead there, but we'll make our predictions again on Monday. Arbitrum versus Dogecoin will be interesting. This is the one I think will once again probably have the most votes, the most clicks, the most views. Caspa escapes round 1. Casper was Crux's Cinderella story, which means he thinks it can win once again and make its way into the Elite 8, but it's going up against my Chainlink. And, I will say this, Shrum. I don't know if you saw this. I did not do any promoting of this. I didn't try to push agendas. I didn't try to encourage votes in certain directions. Crux absolutely went out of his way to recruit Caspa voters. I love it. Love the engagement. I'm going to tell him he can't do it this week. We want to see a fair fight between Caspa and Chainlink. So make sure you vote on this. I'm not going to try to push Link, even though I think it should win. You vote for your own thoughts. Link versus Caspa will probably be the most interesting one. My Cinderella, Tau, is in the lead. I mean, I think we all voted for Tau to win anyway, but it's the number 23 seed. Should not have technically won versus XLM. More than likely, at least if the arguments hold up right now, XMR versus Tau, I think Tau will win that one easily. At the moment, Aave versus AVAX looks like the next round 2, and Cardano versus Solana, that's also going to be interesting. I think the 2 biggest ones, Caspa and Link, and then Cardano versus Solana, could be very, very dramatic. I can't wait to see how that one plays out.
Yeah.
Man, we just went through a lot there. It's 4 o'clock. We're going to wrap up the show. What are you guys thinking so far in Mood Madness? Any surprises to you guys so far? Any anger, any frustration? I've gotten a couple DMs now from people saying, whoever thought of Mood Madness is genius. And it's like, hey, from time to time, I have a good idea or two. And then you guys don't want to hear about the ideas that I come to the team with. And then they say, Tim, that was the dumbest thing we've ever heard. And I turned out to agree with them. So, but if you guys are loving Mood Madness, let us know in the chat. We got 3 more weeks of the Mood Madness until we crown September of 2025's king of altcoins. What's the best 10-year hold? Caspa's got an early lead, though. Their army's aware of it. They're here. Caspa's gonna have a fight in it till the end, Shrum. We better watch out for that stuff. Any closing words from you, Shrum, before we close out this week? It is Friday, college football tomorrow. We'll be back on Monday. Will we have a massive rally over the weekend? Hopefully not. I don't want to see a gap. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I think we could see continued market manipulation into Monday. But like I said, the manipulators can only hold on for so long and keep their thumbs on the scale for so long. And it only makes sense to keep your thumb on the scale for a short period of time, because ultimately everybody on Wall Street wants assets in general to go up over the long term, right? So I think probably Tuesday is where it's almost guaranteed to see the market now start to price in that a Fed rate cut in September 17th is close to 100% guaranteed. I don't think the markets have priced it in yet. Certainly not today. Maybe not even Monday, but Tuesday, I'm going to be really surprised if we don't see some double-digit up to the right movement for some of these altcoins, and probably maybe a 5% day for Bitcoin on Tuesday. So we'll see. Very exciting times.
I mean, at the end of the day, we shouldn't be surprised about a pullback today. Why? Because anytime things seem too obvious, it's too easy. You got to smell the manipulation. It's a very normal thing to get great news, have a little pump followed by a harsh crash, and then when you're kind of sleeping, that's when everything starts to go up again. Don't be surprised to see more volatility next week, but I do think the trend is bullish. I do think we're weeks away from new all-time highs. Don't go anywhere. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you smash that like every single time. And if you want to go deeper with us, check out that VIP trading group. See you guys on Monday.